Hello everyone. Today's topic is equality and equity. So throughout this PPT, we are going to throw some lights on some specific points. What are the points? Just have a look. The very first point is meaning of equality and equity. What is the second point? Needs and importance of equality and equity. What is the next one? Principles of equality, then equity in education, and lastly we will discuss some constitutional provisions on equity. Now, meaning of equality. What does equality mean? It is about ensuring that every individual has equal opportunities. So you can say that each and every individual should be treated equally. Okay, no one should have poorer life chances because of their way of birth, where they come from, what they believe, or whether they have a disability. That means irrespective of caste, creed, religion, ethnic background, social background, sexuality, each and every individual should be treated equally so that they can develop in their life. Okay, this is the concept of equality. That is why it is said that it is a state of being equal in status, rights, and opportunities. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. Here we have to find out the meaning of equity. What does equity mean? Just have a look. It is about recognizing that we do not start from the same place. That means as individuals we have different backgrounds, we have different circumstances, we might have different life conditions. So depending on all these things, we should be given different resources so that we can on the basis of those resources we can have equal outcome. Okay, this is the concept of equity in true sense. So here what is the second point? Just have a look. We must acknowledge and make adjustments to imbalances. So depending on different circumstances, different conditions of our life, we need to acknowledge this particular fact and we need to adjust with each other so that the balance should be maintained and equilibrium should be maintained. Each person has different circumstances. I have already mentioned it. So here, for example, you have two persons in front of you. One is a child and the other one is an adult. Okay. Now, if you give the same height of bicycle to the adult and the child, suppose the adult will be able to ride the bicycle properly because it is of his height, but the same height of bicycle if you give to the child, it will not be beneficial for the child. Getting the point? Depending on the height of the child, the age of the child, you have to give the child a different sort of bicycle. So here this is the example of equity. That means different circumstances are there, so you are giving different sorts of different height of bicycle to the child and the adult. Getting the point? So that the equal outcomes will be maintained. So this is the concept of equity. I hope you understood. That is why the last point is written. What is the last point? Just have a look. Need to allocate the exact resources and opportunities to reach an equal outcome. That means depending on the circumstances, the conditions of the individuals, we need to allocate different or the exact resources and opportunities so that we can reach an equal outcome. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. Here we are going to discuss some needs and importance of equality. What is the first point? Just have a look. People treated equally are better able to contribute socially and economically to the community and enhance growth and prosperity. So from this point we can understand that in a society, if the individuals are treated equally, then there will be better chance for them to contribute socially and economically to the community, and it will also help enhancing growth and prosperity. Okay, and what is the second point? Just have a look. Inequality threatens long-term social and economic development. Now, if we have inequality for a particular time, for a long time in society or community, then it might hamper the long-term social and economic development. Uh, on the other hand, if equality is there, then it will help bring what social and economic development in that particular society. That's why we need to have what equality in a society. What is the next point? Inequality harms poverty reduction and destroys people's sense of fulfillment and self-worth. So it is obvious, if people are treated unequally, then they will never be getting what an opportunity to get richer. And apart from this, what happened, the individuals, they will go through what inferiority complex, and as a result they will lose what their self-worth, self-respect, etc. So from that particular point of view, we can say we need to go through what equality in that particular community, so that we can reduce poverty, so that individuals does have what self-esteem or self-respect. So these are some needs and importance of equality in a community or a society. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. Here we are going to discuss some principles of equality. What is written? Just have a look. The first point is right to recognition of the equal worth and equal dignity of each human being. That means everyone should be treated equally, and they should have the right to be treated equally and fairly, so that the dignity as a human being should be or can be maintained. What is the next one? Right to equality before law. That means before law, everyone is equal. Law is equal for everybody. What is the next one? Right to equal protection and benefit of the law. That means before law, each and every individual should have the right to be protected equally. What is the next one? Right to be treated with the same respect. These are some principles of equality. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. Equity in education. Okay, what does it mean? Just have a look. What is the very first point? Equalization of individual differences among the learners. That means in a classroom, suppose you have to handle the or deal with the students, then it is obvious, you know, that in that particular classroom there might be slow learners, there might be learners who are intelligent. Now in such condition, if you adopt the same method to teach the students, then obviously it will not be effective enough, depending on the level of understanding, level of what interest, aptitudes. So if you adopt different methods, then it will be beneficial. That means you have to equalize what the individual differences among the learners of your classroom. So this is the concept of equity in education. Every student should get equal and suitable opportunities according to his needs, abilities, and aptitudes. That means as a teacher, you have to observe what is their uh, level of understanding, what are their needs, what are their abilities, capabilities, aptitudes, etc. So understanding all these things, you need to adopt suitable methods and techniques to teach them. Okay, so this is the concept of equity in education. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. Here we are going to throw some lights on some constitutional provisions for ensuring equity. Just have a look. Article 15. What does it mean? What does it say? Prohibition of discrimination of grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, etc. That means it is prohibited. Okay, according to Article 15, it is prohibited to discriminate on the ground of what? Religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, etc. What is there in Article 29? It advocated the protection of the minorities. And what is Article 46? It mentioned about the education of the weaker section and the essays. I hope you understood. Okay, thank you. Keep learning.